You're watching a clip from the Club podcast.
Make sure you follow it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and give it a 5-star review.
So here you go. Here's a lovely clip from our podcast. Yes, people, what's going on? The club is proud to present our new sponsor, Super 6. And this is absolutely amazing. I want you lot to get involved with this as well, because this is a game that is free to play. And not only is it free to play, but you could potentially win £250,000. It is so simple. And to make things even more fun, there's a league going on as well, where you can take on myself, Rory and Buvey. So the Super 6 works like this. There's 6 games every single weekend. You predict those games. If you get the scorelines correct in all 6 games, you win £250,000. And if you get more points than anybody else, you win a prize as well if you're top of the league. So it's absolutely amazing. And now, if you go over to Super 6, you enter Club S6, all capitals, into the leagues. You join our league. If you're top of our league, every single week, we will be giving away £100 classic football shirts voucher. Simple. So even if you don't win the league at the end of the season, you could pick up a prize every week. Amazing stuff there. Now, this weekend, we have to predict 6 games. One of those games is Newcastle versus Manchester United. And I'm hoping Rory and Buvey ain't listening to this, because this is where I'm going to pick up a lot of my points. I'm going for a 1-0 win to Man United. I know everyone's going to go for a 0-0, a Newcastle win, because they can't stand United. Well, this is where I come out on top. So don't copy my scoreline. Make sure you head to the description below for the link and join our league over at Super 6. See you there.
This is a really interesting one. The Manchester United ownership. Adam, where are we with that?
It's been absolute madness over the last week, you know. This time last week, Wednesday, there was a deadline set for 9 p.m. It was a soft deadline, which I've never heard before until this takeover nonsense. By a soft deadline, I mean, it's a deadline, but it's not really a deadline. You can get your bids in after that if you want. So we heard that a lot of the second bids were coming in after groups. We saw Ineos with Jim Ratcliffe, and we saw the Qatari group at Old Trafford visiting the grounds and stuff. So they were all getting their second bids in. And then at the deadline, around 9 p.m, 10 p.m, after everybody had reported, like all of the journalists that you trust and know, they all reported that Ineos's bid had gone in, Qatar's bid had gone in. And then within half an hour, it went, actually, they've asked for an extension to the deadline, and none of those bids have gone in. Now, from reading reliable journalists, I've kind of gathered that Ineos were the ones that asked for the initial deadline extension. And then because the Qataris were like, hold up, we can't let them get their bid in after us because they could potentially take advantage of that, they then asked for an extension. The Ratcliffe bid went in on Thursday night. The Qatari bid went in on Friday night, Saturday morning. And now we're at a position where you've got the Qatari bid, the Ineos bid, you've got a partial bid from Elliott Management Group, the same group that owned AC Milan at some point.
In New York.
And there's also this Finnish fella who's come about saying, I'll tell you what, I'll buy half of the club and the fans buy half of the club. The geezer's a blagger. I don't know what he's talking
Not
about.
Finnish, he's 31.
I like that.
He's
That's
not
true.
finished. He's
Rory's first input into the podcast.
That's a classic.
This is going to be
It's
a
a
classic.
classic.
Lads, save this podcast on Spotify. What a genius
Yeah,
little
he's
comment
no
from Rory.
finish.
It's beautiful. But can I just ask a question? And this might be a rudimentary question for Adam, because obviously I don't understand the complexities of it. It feels so sluggish. I feel like if there was genuine interest, it would have happened a lot quicker. I know it's a massive club. It's the biggest club in the world. I'm not trying. Look, when Man City got bought, it was a lot cheaper. It was a lot easier for obvious reasons. But does it not concern you that there's now 3 or 4 different parties? It's still another month.
I don't
2
think
months.
there's that many. Initially, we heard there were a report that there's 8 parties. And that for me stank. And the Elliott Group one for me makes me think, this isn't like, I don't think that's a real, I think it's a real bid. But I don't think the Glazers are actually entertaining it. I think they're using it to pump the price up of the club. Because if they go, actually, we've got a bid here which could make us stay. So we got the option to stay. And then you've got the Qataris and Ineos and all that bidding as well. They know the Qataris have got, you know, pretty much
Infinite
unlimited money.
Why
is
it 10 billion?
So yeah, so they're going to try and milk as much as they possibly can.
Just for layman's terms, what is the kind of the highest bid at the moment, roughly? Is it kind of 5-6 billion?
Again, these are based on reports, so take them with a pinch of salt. But an article on Sportico said the Qatari bid was around 6 billion, which was the asking price. but that includes 500 million to clear off the debt.
That's so heavy, so much money.
And Sir Jim Ratcliffe Group, apparently it's around 5 billion to 5.5 billion.
And you see, that's all they want, isn't it?
Based on the stock price, the club is worth 3.5.
Yeah.
So they're doubling their money almost.
See, that's all they want here. You know, when you were saying they don't need all these bids, the point is to make as much money as possible if you're part of the Glazer team. And the way that you do that is to create a bidding war. You need a bidding war.
Is the real worry that they see the price that someone's really genuinely going to bid? Maybe it's the Qataris. I'm assuming the 5 to 6 billion is a genuine bid, and then they wait another 10 years. To see, where it goes in 10 years' time.
Is football going to keep improving? Also, a lot of people have been saying that they've done this bidding process in order to inflate the value of the club so that they can then get loans and things to the club which are to the value of 7. But that's illegal, bro. That's like market manipulation.
Yeah,
you can't do that. You can't do that. You know what I mean? So a lot of these things that are being suggested would be illegal. Look, I've seen how the Glazers deal with transfers. And they deal with transfers like this. Oh, we do want him. Oh, we don't want him. Oh, we do.
Yeah.
And it's like it's all.
I think they want to sell though. I think they
don't go this far.
I think they want to sell. I think they looked at what happened during the sale of Chelsea, and they realised that Chelsea, despite being a big brand, are incomparable to Manchester United as a brand. And I think they realised that Chelsea went for an awful lot of money, far more than what they paid for Manchester United. And they thought, okay, this is the time. This is the time to get out of football. They're not young. If you're Joel, if you're Avram, you're going to be looking at this going, we've had a great ride. We've made so much money. We've extracted so much money from the club. Let's get out now and make.
I think you're looking at it in a romantic term, in my opinion.
They've inherited that.
What you think they stay?
I think there's a world they stay a lot longer than I don't like United on a sporting level, but what they're doing to the institution of Man United is not right. I don't agree with it. Of course not. There's a world where they're horrible people. They're horrible owners. They could stay 5-10 years.
No, but that's not. But that's not in their interest. They look out for their interest. Their interest is to take the money that's on the table now. Surely,
and their interest also, bro. If they go down this line so far with these Qataris and Ineos. And then they decide to sell. Let's say they go, actually, we're not selling. And then in 3 years, they go, we want to sell. You think these geezers are going to play ball then? It's going to be like, bro, you've messed us about once.
I think that the club will be sold, I think, now. I really do think that. And I can't really see... Oh, I think these things take time. Remember, like the Chelsea model isn't anything to look at because that was a very specific...
And it was forced.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't, Glazer has chosen to sell. Abramovich certainly did not choose to sell. So they're very different. But I think that it will happen. I can't see how it doesn't now when there is a bid that's inflated in terms of the value of the club with a party like the Qataris who are so clearly up for this and so clearly ready to make this happen. And I think, talking strictly about football, everything that I understand about their bid, they are ready to be good owners in terms of the way that they approach football.
Yeah, in the same way that Man City's owners are good despite the fact.
Yeah.
You can have objections to why they own a club and all that. Yeah. Obviously, from a footballing perspective as well, I think the Qataris are the ones that are going to blow everybody out of the water.
And the issue is as well, isn't his bid,
leverage more debt onto the club. Yeah. He says onto Ineos, but ultimately,
basically,
where's that money going to come from?
You don't want to hear the word debt, do you? You don't want to hear the word debt. You want to hear the word benefactor. Yeah. You don't want to hear the word debt.
We don't want to hear debt. We want to hear debt-free. Because that's how Manchester United were before the Glazers come. And it's just remarkable. Like, I can't wait to get rid of these Glazers and touch wood, it happens. It definitely happens. But ultimately, they've had our pants down. They bought the club. They didn't spend a penny. They leveraged debt onto the club. That debt is still there till this day. They've cost the club $1.5 billion in terms of taking dividends out, refinancing debt, all this kind of stuff. And now they're going to walk away with $7.3 billion or something like that. It's
mind-blowing.
Hustler of the year stuff.
It is mind-blowing. But in terms of the Qataris, if the Qataris do come in, if this goes as it's looking like it's going to go, do you know what I genuinely think it means for Manchester United and for the Premier League? I honestly think that it ends sporting competition in the league. I really do.
You know why I think that's incorrect? Because clubs around us, let's say we were in the position of Chelsea or Man City when they got bought and we got taken over by Qataris or Roman or someone. no one comes close. But I think because City have been able to build some of that success, because Chelsea have, and because the Premier League money is so big for everybody, I think there will be.
But the Manchester United brand, the Manchester United badge aligned with very wealthy but correct owners,
and the revenues that we already bring in.
Yes, it equals, like, you know, going back to my days of being a schoolboy in equations, right? That plus that equals that.
So in this equation that you've just given, I'd like to put another kind of integer in, if that even works. They've spent more money than us in the last 6 years. Now, whether that's right for wrong, I know it's leveraged debt.
Everton have spent loads of money. Everton have spent loads of money. No, I'm not only talking about spending money. I'm just talking about...
Man United have spent a lot of money.
No one's ever discussed that. And you know one of the things...
They have spent a lot of money.
You know the Glazers, they had an accountant running around spending that money. You know the Qataris, they're going to put the best man in that position to do, because they're going to want the best for everything.
I'm just pushing back on the argument of it ends sporting competition.
I don't think so.
And especially in this country, any one club can never dominate it, and United certainly don't have the right to do that either.
I think they have in the past.
They don't have the right to do that.
No, they don't have the right.
No one has the right.
No one has the right. United are the biggest club. You never deny that. Liverpool are just behind Arsenal.
Having said that, City have dominated and you got none.
What's that?
City have dominated.
Yeah, we've dominated because we've made very smart strategic signings.
No, but there's no reason United couldn't do that.
United can, but it doesn't end sporting competition.
I think if
United got taken over this year and they had the Qatari money, which obviously looks infinite.
It's not only about...
In the next 10 years, I think about money. Two clubs that get 2 Premier League titles. It could be 2-2-2-1-1.
It's not only about money. You keep saying they spend a lot of money now. It's not only about that.
Yeah.
It's spending money is important, but it's not the be-all and end-all. Ask any Everton fan. Yeah. Like Mashiri spent a fortune.
It remains to be seen if the Qataris could employ someone as good as Khaldun Mubarak.
No, but what they'll do is they'll get the best in field. You know the Glazers, they are.
Yeah.
So the Glazers had Woodward running around.
We do.
How do you know? How do you know?
Because they want to win, bro.
I'm not trying to be.
They're only there to win.
Chance they will.
I went to Qatar for the World Cup, and I saw the way that they approached delivering that World Cup, and it was the very best throughout. It was the very best that it could be. They employed the best person for the job at every single point, and money is no object.
I think you could argue that Chelsea have tried to sign the best in class in terms of the executives at Chelsea, at Barcelona, at Bayern Munich. Not every side can win the Champions League every season. Not every side can win their own league. Chelsea don't have the brand of Manchester United. What I'm trying to say, I'm trying to balance the argument that United could get incredible investment, which they probably deserve. I still don't think it was going to be 10 in a row.
I agree with you about. I agree with Buvey about.
Yeah, but you can't find a Khaldun Mubarak like Man City can as easily. I think it's a lot harder, and there could be a lot of money that comes in. They could, and United again deserve to have a lot more investment.
You think Khaldun Mubarak's the one doing all that? They're paying people in the job.
Man
to
City
do that.
he's been a fantastic executive for Man City in terms of the strategy, getting Guardiola, getting Serrano, people like that.
I agree with you generally speaking. I don't think competition in the country is going to change. But what I would say is that when Manchester United are, let's say, with the Woodward with the Glazers, they saw that was going wrong. But as long as their dividends were coming in,
you're right,
they didn't change that.
Yeah.
These don't.
Yeah, the owners will be
They
more
only want to see winners.
Yeah.
So if you've got an Ed Woodward running around, he's gone. And the next man's in.
It might take a lot
better.
longer than you think to change the lack of execution at Man United. It might take a little bit longer.
It won't.
That's what I'm saying.
You know why it won't? Because we've already got Ten Hag in place. If we didn't have Ten Hag in place and these new owners are coming in on the back of Ragnick and that, you're looking
I don't
at,
want to be a cynic. I don't want to be a cynic. I'm just like,
what we've never seen in this country is a club the size and success of Manchester United having a benefactor. So we've seen it with Chelsea, and we've seen Chelsea dominate, but Chelsea aren't even close to being the same size club as Manchester United. We've seen it with City. City have had their moments of domination.
Who were the owners of Man United before the Glazers? I'm not trying to be a kind of hurdle in this conversation. I'm just trying to be real to the fact that United have broken the British transfer record more than any other club. They've done that pre-Glazers. They've done that post-Glazers. There's been a lot of money at Man United. A lot of
you're ignoring the points
I'm not making it about money.
Sorry, me and Rory are making. We're making points about when they want to win, and they will spend money till they get it right. That's the point. City, like PSG, they'll spend the money till they get it right because they only want to win.
Have never had a benefactor in this country. The only clubs that have actually had proper benefactors are Chelsea, Man City, and now Newcastle.
Right. Yeah.
In terms of competing, so no club with the prestige of Manchester United and the scale of Manchester United.
Right. Of course, you're right.
We've never seen an experiment where the biggest club, arguably in the world, probably in the world, but certainly in the country, has been married to a benefactor.
Yeah.
So I just think a benefactor plus an institution like Manchester United equals total dominance. We'll find out one of us is right.
We will find out very soon. I hope Rory's right, but who knows? Just a quick question for you boys before we wrap up this conversation and move on. Who do you think ends, like just from a neutral perspective, I know you're not neutrals really, but who do you think ends up by, can you only see Qatar?
It can only be Qatar.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.